pick up the subject that Nick was going to be talking about, which I think was a sort of essential guide on freelancing, which I know that quite a few of you are involved in. Some of you will be on, I can see that our current members of our courses, and others of you may just have looked in just to see what's going on. I'll just make a couple of initial points, first of all, and while we're doing that, I'd be interested to see, as we did the last time that we met, it's quite useful to me if some of you have got specific questions of areas that you want us to explore tonight. In the meantime, I suppose the starting point, we have a lot of students who are studying different types of freelance writing courses in combinations of perhaps specialising with subjects like travel or sort of features writing as well, and based all over the world. But the challenges sort of posed by that tend to be quite, familiar problems arise, I think, that affect everyone irrespective of where they actually are around the globe. One of which tends to be possibly not the one that everyone expects, and because I think most people would take a course of this type to look at the techniques involved in writing different types of articles. I think the problems on the freelancing side, and this is true even for very experienced sort of writers, are less with the actual writing than the processes involved in actually selling that work and getting it published, and perhaps fears that we have about dealing with editors and the sort of our credibility as a writer, because obviously anything we produce is our own baby and something that's quite personal to us. Tend to be perhaps the biggest sort of challenge that any newcomer faces. So something that we can perhaps explore tonight would be sort of how to overcome those fears, or how students have managed to do so in different parts of the world. Now, at the moment, I just want to check with Titan that I'm getting feedback from the audience. So if somebody can, I've got a local chat field up. If somebody can just sort of type me a testing line just to make sure that I am seeing anything that's coming in from you in the audience. Oh, a bit of clicking going on there. It's because I haven't scrolled down. Wonderful, thank you for that. Okay, now I'm yes, I've excellent. Okay, well, yes, so the one of the early sort of questions that we sort of raised with students who are asking about sort of careers in freelancing, because obviously many people are perhaps interested in a part-time career or supplementing work that they do at the moment, or in some ways finding a longer-term way of moving out of one job into a writing career. So the sort of first task sort of set them, I suppose, is to think at about a few of the challenges associated with actually writing for publication. And I think the three that tend to sort of throw up the most difficulties are, first of all, the actual ideas about what to write, the angle, the sort of selling point, if you like, of a particular article, and sort of most specifically how to relate that to a sort of particular sort of target market. We spoke just initially about the difficulty of selling anything, and I think it's partly a journalistic thing that we don't see ourselves as salespeople we don't. We feel a little bit like a double glazing salesman trying to sell an article to a reluctant editor, and that's. I think almost every working journalist would much prefer it if editors just beat a path to our door and bribed us with vast sums of money to produce their works of art. But sadly, a lot of the time we are sort of effectively cold calling and trying to produce something that's suitable. In a formal life, on the commissioning side of the fence as a features editor and so on, it immediately becomes clear, why 90% of pieces that are submitted by amateurs aren't appropriate. And one of the most obvious problems is that they haven't read the publication, and they're producing something that is singularly inappropriate for the magazine or the newspaper that they're submitting it to. At the most obvious level, at a very straightforward example, we used to have a colour travel page that was published as part of the Saturday paper, a tabloid page with room for a couple of main articles, some of which could be submitted work from freelancers. But on a tabloid, as tabloid-sized paper, if you pick up, whether it's a Mail or Express or Metro, any of the mid-market style of tabloids, you'll see that there are actually only so many words that you can fit on one of those pages. And we used to carry a little section called sort of postcard from, where physically there would be about room for 250 words and a picture, and it was deliberately meant to be a sort of snapshot, not a how to get there in-depth travel piece, but just a sort of like a holiday snap, but taking us into a particular location, whether that's deep sea diving in a part of the world or something that's slightly unusual and exotic.